Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Juan Tames, aka Energy Focuser, and today I am with my friend Christina.
Hi, guys.
And she has asked me to teach her how to read tarot cards. So I decided to do a series of videos where not only would I show her how to do it, but I can also show you how to do this. So I started off doing the Rider Tarot deck, which is a tarot, the Rider deck tarot. And I started doing these when I was a teenager. I think I started when I was like about 16, 17 years old. I started with this deck of cards. And the cards basically go major arcana and then minor arcana. So basically the major arcana talk about life events. They talk about situations that are taking place, life changes, or drastic things that are about to happen. So basically when one of these cards comes out in a reading, whatever's about to happen is going to happen. There's basically almost no changing it. You're already in the middle of everything. So it's almost difficult for it to change. So just to go through them, I'm only going to go through these, not the other ones. But we have the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers, the Chariot, Strength, the Hermit, Wheel of Fortune, Justice, the Hangman, Death, Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment, the World, and the Fool. So as I said, we're going to go over these cards in future videos. Right now I just want to go through these on a basic level. And then we have the Wands, which represent air. We have the Ace of Cups, or actually the Cups, which represent water. Swords, which represent fire. And Pentacles, which represent earth. So this could be money, or it could be earthly possessions. Okay, so along with these, we have a little booklet. And the booklet is going to tell you the meaning of the various cards. So, for example, we start off, we have the major arcana, starting with the Magician and ending with the Fool. And then we have the Wands, and we have all the explanation here, the meanings. We have the Cups right there. We have the Swords. And finally, we have the Pentacles. Now, I have over 100 different decks of cards. Some of them are tarot cards, as you've seen before. I have the Angel Tarot cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. And I have Oracle cards, which would be the Magi Method. Now, these are not really, these are kind of Oracle cards. They're more like minor arcana. So these are more about the everyday situations happening in your life. That's what these cards represent. It's more like what's going on either on a daily basis, something that's not such a big deal per se that's going to happen. Now, when I do my readings, I like to pair these two together. That's just my preference. You can have whatever deck of cards you feel most comfortable using and pair them together and see what combinations you can come up with. So when I started doing these cards, like I said, I was really young and I really was enjoying a lot of the stuff that I was learning. But let me ask Christina if she has any questions for me.
Okay, I do. I want to know, why did you start doing readings?
I started doing readings because as a child, I was very open and receptive to energy. So I always had dreams about whatever situations. So they were very vivid. They were very clear. So as I started getting older, I also used to see auras. I started to kind of deviate from that. I started to separate myself from that energy and was living more of an everyday life. As I got older, I saw other kids at school who were into whether it was witchcraft or card readings and stuff like that, and it caught my attention. So I said, I wanted to start doing card readings. And like I said, this wasn't until I was like 16 or 17, and I was given my first deck of cards. It was a gift. So I started to just get into the whole mood of the cards.
So So, what attracted you to the tarot cards?
It wasn't so much that I wanted to do. It wasn't a specific cards actually that I wanted to do. It just happened that one of my friends had tarot cards. So seeing her with the deck, I was like curious about it. So I said, you know what? I'd like to actually have a deck of cards. To which she said, okay, I'll get you a deck of cards. Then I started to do a little bit of readings, and I was very surprised. And the people that I've done readings for have been very surprised with some of the stuff that I've told them. And I'll never forget the first reading that I actually did. My friend told me that whatever I had told him that day happened that day. So he called me the next day. And he's like, dude, you're a freaking witch. Like, how did you know this stuff? And I said, I didn't. Like, it's not like I knew it. You know what I mean? It was just in the cards, as they say.
Mm-hmm. So what methods did you use to learn the tarot cards, or how long did it take you?
So I started off with the little booklet. And in the booklet, if you just go in sequential order and you start with the major cards, it'll tell you, for example, the Magician, it'll tell you what it means right side up and reversed. So if you learn the cards right side up and reversed, it's going to take you a long time. So basically, if you learn the card one way and it comes out the opposite, well, it just means the opposite thing is happening. So that's one little tip right there. And I went through the cards over and over and over. I actually don't remember keeping notes of the cards. It was mostly like the Magician means blah, 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 blah. And then the High Priestess represents these other things. And the Empress is so forth and so on, right? Another thing to keep in mind is what you see in the card. Because as I said, these represent major life events.
Okay, so you mentioned that the minor arcana cards represent elements. The booklet doesn't mention any of that. How did you learn that?
I took a class, a tarot card class. After years of practicing, I wanted to get a certificate to be a certified tarot card reader. So in those classes, they actually told me, these cards, all of them, as I mentioned right now, have hidden meanings within them. So everything has a meaning. So whenever you're doing the reading and there's something in the card that draws your attention, it's part of that message. And then, yes, they told me, Wands, air, cups, water, swords, fire, and pentacles, earth. How do they come up with this? I really wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't recall exactly how they know that it's those elements. But I mean, the water is very obvious. And the pentacles is very obvious. These two can get a little confusing. So it's just like air and fire, initiative, fighting the sword. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned that you've been doing readings for many years, but on and off. Why is that?
I have been doing the readings for quite a few number of years. If I was 16 and right now, I've been doing them for like about 20 years because I'm 37. So about 21 years I've been doing readings. On and off because there has been a lack of consistency on my part. And I don't always have someone that I can read for. Sometimes people get scared when I do a reading for them and they don't come back. Or sometimes maybe what I tell them doesn't actually jive with them. So they think like, he's full of baloney, whatever. And they never come back. So I really can't give you an exact answer why sometimes I do the readings and why sometimes I don't. It just depends on the people and the circumstances happening. Another thing that I guess is important to remember is, as I mentioned, yes, there's hidden messages in here. There's also numbers on the cards. Those numbers also have a meaning. Another thing that I learned is numerology. So numerology is the study of the numbers. So for example, like number 1 is obviously starting something new. Number 2 has to do with situations between two people. Number 3 has to do with making choices and decisions. 4 is talking about stability. 5 is talking about freedom. 6, responsibility. 7, I'm going to get stuck on this one because I don't really remember 7. 7, and then 8, almost like may have to do with money or the return of something, or almost like the infinity symbol, and it just keeps going over and over and over. 9 is a culmination of something, which is you're reaching the end. And then you have card number 10, which is basically number 1 on steroids. So you hit the ultimate peak of whatever was happening, but now you're starting even at a higher level, at a bigger understanding. And then these are going to have, for example, the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. So these are the court cards, and they represent people. So the page is, we're going to represent somebody young. The knight, someone who's a little bit more in their adolescent years or young adults. The queen usually represents a woman, and a king usually represents a man, but it's not always the case. Another thing to remember, each one of these minor cards also represents the zodiac signs. So the air signs are here, the water signs are here, the fire signs are here, and the earth signs are here. So this is very fun. I found it very fun after I took my classes, in which, by the way, I didn't finish and I didn't get certified, but I don't think I need a certificate. I don't need a certificate to validate my work. Actually, people can vouch for the stuff that I've done, and I'm doing these weekly readings, which I was doing before. So this is not new. A lot of you who know me know that I've been doing this for a while, and I just came back better and stronger than before, wiser, with much more to offer. Believe me, guys, I mean, this is just a little part of the things that I have in store for you. But I hope you've liked this little introduction to tarot, and that you have gotten to know me a little bit more through this video. And as always, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're up to date with my latest videos. And I will be back very soon.